Oh, Lord. All right, we're going to try this again, see if anybody's up. It's 6 something here in Arizona. I got in here about 15 minutes late. A little tired, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Anybody come on, give us a like, thumbs up. And if you find it interesting, share it out. If you don't, give us a thumbs up anyway, because somebody else might. Oh, I'm done. I'm going to take me a nap here. A little bit. Water. Oh, just sweet baby Jesus, I'm stuffed. We're gonna see who comes in. Looks like we got one person in. We'll see who else comes in. Let me know if y'all can hear me okay. Oh man. Grandma's stuffed, y'all. It's been that day. Who's in the room? I'm gonna talk a little bit about the abortion thing because I've been watching it on TV. Now I don't believe in abortion, but I'm gonna talk about it. And y'all, we can chat it up. I'll see who else comes on. We 1 minute in, so we'll give it about 5 minutes or so. See if anybody else get it. I didn't put a notice up. So tired. And I may just talk about it anyway because I tried it last night. And I think I did it too late because I got off at 8 and then I just kind of sat around. Right now I'm stuffed. We So I'm 54 today. Today is the B day. Hey Chicago BBW, can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I hit the big 5-4 today. And me and Joe and Linda went out, and that dessert you see was free. And we went to a place called Buca di Beppo here in Arizona. It's like an Italian family style restaurant. So there was so much food on the table, y'all. It was crazy. Um, and we all broke it up and took it home. So Buca gave me $20 off of a $40 meal, and then the dessert was free. And dessert was this tall cup like this, about this big, and yeah, I'm so full. And there was tons. We left ice cream in there because we couldn't even eat it all. And I can't do a lot of dairy because dairy makes me go. I love ice cream, but I gotta be home because it's like extracts to the body. It cleanses. It cleanses. So yeah, Chicago, you should be 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8. Hold on, Chicago, Illinois, you're Central Daylight. You're not Eastern, so 6 to 7, 7 to 8. It's about 8:37 your time right now. Hey, Catalina, what's up, baby? I said Catalina, Katina, what's up, baby? Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. I call myself Fluffy Grandma now. Grandma 54, and my play nephew, his birthday, I think is tomorrow or the day before. I can't remember. It's either before me or day after. So his mom is like right before me. Then it's him. That's Vivian and them. You remember Vivian, the ones I stayed with when I was in the truck and I would stay with. And I did the little breakfast there, the holidays. I know Chicago BW Dairy tears me up. However, they got an ice cream shop over here by me now, and it's called Lix, Lix. And so I saw it because it's behind a Mexican restaurant that me and Linda and Joe went to. And I was like, oh, yeah, stop in here. So I stopped, and they have vegan ice cream, which means it's not dairy. And so it was really good. It was a mango sticky ice cream, and it was so good. And I got a little thing, and I did get regular ice cream too. They had a coconut, and I love coconut. But as long as I'm coming home, it'll just clean me out. Um, but the vegan is non-dairy because if it's vegan, they don't do dairy. So that was great. They said when they first see my name. Yeah, because you think of Catalina Islands. I think is that in California? There's somewhere in the states. There's a place called Catalina Islands. That's what you think. I think it's in Cali. I know Catalina Islands. I think it's somewhere tied to California. I don't know. I just remember Catalina. So Catalina, and I always associated with California. But welcome and hope you. Where you at in the country, Katina? Well, if you're lactose intolerant, there are some cheeses we can eat. So feta cheese does not have any impact on us normally. There's another one. I think goat cheese is another one doesn't have any impact on us because it's not, well, the goat cheese is from a goat, so it's not like dairy. And I found out actually from a white doctor that I had an Anglo doctor when I was younger, and I realized because I didn't know, I was like, man, my stomach sometimes be tore up. And so he says, when were you notice it? And I noticed it when I would do dairy and cheese, and I love cheese, I love dairy. But so each one does something different. So ice cream is like a laxative to me. It means I got to go to the potty. Milk makes me gassy, and cheese, it can play a twofold role. If I eat too much of it, I get constipated. So it messes with me in different ways. Oh, Mississippi, okay, I've been to your neck of the wood. Good food. Look, my fat butt, good food. Um, yeah, it makes me, so cheese has different, it has different impacts on me when I eat cheese. So it's just different. And I ain't gonna be too long on here, y'all. You know me, I need to vent sometime. But today we did have a good birthday. We had, let me go through that. We went to a place here in Arizona called Buca de Pepo. It's an Italian family style restaurant, so the portions are extremely large. So, like, if you order a dish, usually anywhere from $20 to $30, that dish usually can feed, the small can feed about up to 4 people. The large can feed anywhere from five to, I think they said, 6 or 8. And it's like an Italian restaurant, like you would do for a mob or whatever. They like the old style. Where they had a big tables and stuff. They even have a table you can sit in the kitchen and eat. I mean, that's just, it's cool. It's quirky. They got the old Italian pictures on the wall. Linda had first time ever being there. She had a good time. And when they brought the food, all she kept doing was kept going, amazing. She laughed and she said, absolutely amazing. And she ordered the margarita pizza and the chicken alfredo. And when they brought the bowl to her, Linda said, amazing. Because she got the small bowl. She's like, this is small? You sure it's the small? And I said, he told you 2 to 4. And then me and Joe were going to share lasagna. And when we got in there, we should have listened to him because he said, y'all might well just get the small, get a bunch of, he giving you the helpful hints. We didn't listen. So we got the large thinking we were splitting it. Child, that thing came out about this. Let's see where my phone. Let me see if I got it, y'all. See if I got a picture of this lasagna. Let's see if I got a picture of the. Okay, so here's a picture of the lasagna. I don't know if y'all can see that. Y'all see the lasagna? That's like, it's like a bar cake. It was about this big, and we was big enough that we all were able to split it. And we split that, and then Linda had a big old. Oh, here's a better picture. That's a better picture of it. I don't know if y'all can see that. Y'all see that? That's a better picture. So yeah, and then we had salad, and then they accidentally brought us out the cheesy bread, which was good. And then he's like, "Oh, I got the wrong one for you, but y'all can have that one." And then he brought the regular. And girl, we had to split that too. We had so much food when we left. Linda had 2 bags. Joe doesn't like leftovers, so he just took part of the lasagna. I took a little bucket of the lasagna. I think I got some salad in there, which I'll probably eat maybe later tonight. I'll nibble on that because it's got the dressing on it, which I should have told him to put the dressing on the side because if you get the dressing on the side, the salad will last a couple of days. But they put the dressing on there. So, and then I got the bread, and we had calamari. Linda don't like calamari. She never tried it, but she says she don't like it. She just don't try. We trying to work her out of her finickiness. But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna talk about this. Only a couple of y'all in here, and people will replay it later. So I know y'all may or may not, and I just gotta ask some questions. It's just me thinking off the top of my head. So y'all know I watch the news from time to time, and I'm Christian. So I'm watching this, and I'm watching the whole thing about the overturning of abortion. Now, I don't believe in abortion, and I know there's people who will talk to me and they'll say, "Well, what about rape? What about?" They'll throw all these other caveats. It's just like me being part of a molest child. Or I did have somebody who tried to break in and rape me, and I had to physically fight a man out the house at age 13. Was it 13? I think it was like 13 years old at my grandfather's place. I would go and clean up for him on the weekends, and he would go at night, and he ran a little club, and he would go work his club. And while he was gone, somebody broke in while me and my brothers were there asleep, and they were little because there's like a 9 and 10 year difference between me and my half brothers. And it got into a physical fight because that was what it was gonna happen. And I don't know. I'm like, I believe the angel of the Lord showed up. Something happened because it was like physically, I'm trying to fight this guy. I don't know how old he was. I mean, he was young, but I don't not like teenager young. So I'm going to say somewhere probably between 18 and up, okay? 18, maybe 18 to 20, 20, 25. So that happened to me when I was like 13 years old. It does give you a different perspective, but I still do not believe in abortion. And I know of people that were products of rapes and they were born uh, to their parents. Maybe they were given up for adoption, things like that. I would believe in more of that. And I know that's a hard pill to swallow, but it kind of is what it is. Give the child up. The child did not make a decision on how they got here to this planet, and God had a purpose in my sense for it. So I do not believe in abortion in that sense. And I also know people who've had abortions. I'm not necessarily judging them, but I know my conversation with them after the fact. Um, that's Regina. I know my conversation with them after the fact. And I struggle with it on a lot of levels because as I was watching TV on it, I remember something Grumpy told me. And he said he watched a show one time. And the show talked about, and if you guys recognize this, the show talked about, and it just if you think about what you're seeing now in a lot of the newscasts, and I'm gonna talk about in conjunction with minorities, especially African Americans. Monty I think I was on the truck. I think I might have been on the truck or either was there in the house. We had a conversation. He says, I saw this show about abortion places. I said, okay. He said, do you know they initially put those in areas of black communities because they didn't want us to grow as a populace? And they wanted to basically, at least the show he said he watched, they wanted us, they wanted to kind of kill the black family. And I was like, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked. Now I can't tell you the show. I just know this was a conversation we had. I'm trying to think how many. Well, he was alive, obviously. I was trying to think. I'm trying to think if I was on the truck or if I was if I was. I can't remember. I was staying there. If I was working for the bank, but he told me about it. So as I'm watching what's going on now, I'm looking at a lot of the people who are running some of the clinics. I'm looking at the predominant people that talk. I'm looking at when they talk about, oh, they're making it seem like, oh, this is in a black community. And they don't have any other access. And blah, 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 blah. Okay. Like I said, I don't agree with it, but I'm gonna ask a question and just follow my bouncing ball. Follow my bouncing ball, friend of mine. You can get condoms even at the 99-cent store. Birth control exists in some form or fashion. Abstinence is still a good thing. And I have a problem with us trying to justify abortion as a form of birth control. I just do. It amazes me some of the behaviors that I'm seeing in conjunction with it. And I'm thinking, is there no level of responsibility, accountability, and can you not keep your leg closed? Or if you can't keep your legs closed, can you have Johnny put on a condom? I'm just saying. And I do understand that there are extreme cases of rape. And like I said, my view, praise God, I didn't get pregnant because I never desired to carry a baby in that manner. But had I got pregnant, I would have just given the child up for adoption if it's something I could not mentally, emotionally, financially um, do, because there are plenty of people who want children who cannot have them. Now, unfortunately, the system is not necessarily your friend, but you can sometimes arrange ahead of time in certain situations to see the parents that are going to adopt your child, meet them, and know more about them. And sometimes there's investigations done. I'm not talking about children that are necessarily just thrown in the foster system because they are not raised right and they're already broken human beings. So, I mean, and there's tons of kids that need a home. But I'm listening as I'm listening. So I'm like, and I'm just asking myself, do people not have self control? And do condoms not exist? So even if you're in our community, in the black community, like I said, the dollar store got condoms. And my bigger issue is, and it's like, okay, I don't have no control, so I'm just out here screwing. I have some babies, and I get pregnant, and I'm gonna go to the abortion clinic whenever I get pregnant to get rid of the baby because I like to screw. I'm sorry, I'm just being that real. So well, our communities are poor, so your communities are poor, and we justify poverty to justify the abortion clinics. It just doesn't make sense to me. And what really bothered me is that we haven't stepped back and seen the scope of those that are in the Black community. So then that tells me that if they're in our community, then we're not instilling some values, number one. But number two, we do need to educate. And instead of making it an easy fix with just, okay, you get pregnant and come up here and we'll suck the baby out. Instead of going that route, we need to educate on condoms. I mean, and your other issue with this, if you're getting pregnant, the other issue, and I come from a father who was, Rolling Stone. He made a lot of babies he didn't want to take care of. So, yeah, my other issue with this is if I see in my community that this is a problem, I'm justifying the abortion clinic. Why don't we justify some learning and education and some mentoring? And I also need to talk to my churches because here is a place where you can step in and mentor people. The high school I went to, just a quick story, and I went to high school, and I didn't know they had a program for it, but I had a girl that we were in this thing called cooperative office education, which opened me up so I could get into business when I was younger and have prayerfully the blessed resume I've had. Um, and one of the girls, what was her name? I want to say Tammy, but I could be wrong. We were in this business program together. She got pregnant by her boyfriend and she was going to drop out of high school. She's like, I can't afford blah, blah, blah. She was going to quit. We were all in this little job together. Not the same company, but the program gave us all jobs. And so I said, Tammy, you don't want to drop out because she was in her senior year. I mean, she was right there to graduate. I said, if you do this now, it's going to affect the rest of your life. And I talked to her, and then I introduced her because I had a lot of family issues going on with my abusive mom, and I was dealing with the counselor there for that. And so introduced her to the counselor who was helping me, and they had a program that helped pregnant girls. So she had her baby, she did her schooling through the program to finish out high school. She stayed in the COE program that we had. And I remember the last time I saw her, she brought her baby. We met at on Maryland University in Tempe. There is a Jack in the Box there, and we met, and she brought him, and he had little indentations in his head where I guess they had to pull him out. And then she told me about how she ripped in the bad area. But I was like, oh, everything you done told me, telling me I don't want no kid. But she was thinking about aborting. She was thinking about dropping. Um, all those things. And at the end, she didn't. So, because of the outcome, but a lot of stuff is education. And I get people slip up, heat of the moment, all of that. But if you got several heats of the moment and you got no rational thought going on and you got no plan for protection, it's just like right now, they're noticed among a lot of, I guess, gay males, the increase in monkeypox. And again, I partied with them back in the day. I partied with my gay boys back in the day. And there's like, I'm ready to do what I'm going to do. And I saw people do things very risky during the HIV and AIDS time. And I lost a lot of friends to HIV and AIDS. And I know of people who lost family members during that time because, again, accountability. I'm really shocked my biological father didn't have HIV and AIDS because he didn't sound like he ever used protection. That's why he had a whole bunch of kids by different folks. And so we have to step back. And me and him talked about stuff, and he said he told me he knew that he should have been a high candidate for getting it, and we need to really step back and weigh, especially in the Black community, why is so many abortion clinics in our community, and that should be some red flags on the play. It's kind of like in the black community when we had the crack cocaine epidemic going on, like it was. And I'm gonna call it epidemic because that was introduced to our community for a reason. We've got to use some wisdom, and killing off our future is not wisdom. Also, the future you have as an individual can be made by the choices of being, having 8, 9 kids. And I know that once you have them, you love them if those that keep them, but the strain of that. Now, I got friends that love their children, but I can tell that because you might not have chose wisely on some choices, it impacted the life you have. And I'm guilty. Everybody's guilty in some form. But now you've got the accountability for another life. You've got the expense of another life. Um, and you don't have that just for today. You got that for 18 plus years. And I say 18 plus because a lot of kids, they always with mom and daddy. They don't ever try to venture on their own. And I'm not saying families shouldn't be able to help you. You should. Families should be there for each other if they're, perfectly they're decent, not what I got. But just what I'm seeing now is bothering me. It's bothering me because it's positioned in such a way to make it seem like this is the only form of birth control. And to me, again, Christian, I don't believe in abortion. I do think abortion is taking a life and killing a life. I believe while they may make it legal here, I believe you're going to answer for it there. So, you know, I just don't believe in it. But I also am having a hard time, especially in my own community of being African American, that we're looking at this as a form of birth control. And again, we're so surface level, we don't see the bigger picture of maybe why was this put in our community? Why do we have such a strong presence of abortion clinics in our community? I was looking at all the black folk and the locations when they were doing just different interviews in different parts of the country with the clinics, and black folks were either running them or in predominantly black areas. They're telling us that there's a high influx of predominantly black people who are high in number for Planned Parenthood for abortions. Latinos, I think, fell underneath that, and then Anglos. So your minority communities, and there was a reason for this. If Monty is telling me, and I'm not doubting what he saw, that he saw a show that says this was why these places were planted where they were at, and they were geared to our community, it means that they didn't want our population to be huge. Again, we have certain folk who want to be in control. Now they're outnumbered. When you really look at the grand scheme of things, the number of minorities in America is huge. And also, like I think I talked about this before, what we call white folk was not originally white folk. White folk meant European white, Anglos. I call them Anglos, European. So that means Jewish folks ain't Anglo, Italian folks ain't Anglo, and we could go down the laundry list. These people were included later on as the Anglos started realizing their numbers were dwindling. And now the more light and non dark your skin is, okay, you considered white. Some Middle Easterns, they consider them white. They ain't white. They're not white. No, they're not. But we can change the perspective and say they are and include them to make our numbers more so we can feel important. And if we make them feel important, they'll just jump right in the bag and say, oh, yeah, I'm white. I got a friend of mine who's Latino, he's Mexican, and he likes the fact that people sometimes think he's white. Why? Because the perception is given is white is better than any other, even a minority. And sweetheart, no. Be proud of your culture. Understand this jacked up thinking behind white. And I'm not. I got, and I always say this, like white folks say, I got black friends. I got Anglo people in my family and friends. So it's not my issue is when people want to use it, and I hate race, but they want to use it to seem better than somebody else. That's my issue. And when they use it in order to downtrodden a people based on ethnicity or wherever you're from, I have problems with that. I do. But this whole abortion mess we have right now, the whole overturning, well, you're taking away my right to choose and blah, 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 blah. We got to work within the system. Whether you like the system, lump the system, and now this whole there's this whole thing, and it came out with the past administration of if it's not my way, I'm gonna throw a temper tantrum. In America, we used to be a country which is, to me, democratic democracy. I don't know when that changed, where you vote and whatever rolled happened, whether you like it or not, then you try voting again or changing it later on. You had this from 19 whatever to now, and they changed it. But like I said, there's other forms of birth control. Abortion is not birth control. So I'm not gonna get out here and be streets fighting with you about it either way. Not fighting pro, not fighting against. It's been done, and now we got to deal with it. And if I want to overturn it, then I'll go ahead and follow whatever political protocol. But rolling around in the dirt and rolling and fighting with folks and cussing folks out, it doesn't make sense to me. Um, and like I said, I do believe it's murder. I had a weird dream about abortion. Actually, I don't know if it's been 6 months ago, and it was a very weird dream. It was broad on a whole bunch of levels. It dealt with perversion, it dealt with corruption, and it dealt with in the dream a man. I saw a man he picked the baby out the trash can, and then he put the baby back in the trash can. It was bizarre. So, but I believe a lot of things that I've been dreaming have been manifesting in different ways. It's like I had the food dream about the whole chicken thing, and now we've got the bird flu and all this other stuff. Prices of food have gone up, a whole bunch of stuff going on. But yeah, I watched it, and it boggles my mind that we don't see differently, especially like I said in the black community. What should make me stand back and say, wait a minute, why am I looking at all these Planned Parenthoods in the black community? Why are these people telling me that the highest proportion of people getting abortions is black? No, let me tack that onto the numbers and our percentage in this country, and why we may have so a low percentage. So why can't I now deal with this as an education issue on keeping your legs closed and or using, if you can't keep your leg closed, which I think is craziness, and or using protection. Not only for that reason, but also to keep out disease. So there's a broader scope to this, and the way their positioning is that abortion is the only solution to, at least that's in my opinion, to birth control. No, no, there's birth control pills, there's condoms, and if you probably use them together, we would eliminate unplanned parenting and unplanned children. It's a rearing issue and it's an education issue. It's a human issue too, but it's rearing and education and accountability. And accountability. Anyway, that's kind of my thoughts tonight on what's going on. I'm also, and I don't know how y'all feeling about where y'all at in the country. I was talking to Linda, and she had talked to her sister, and I told Linda I was having a lot of dreams about food and stuff, and so I stock up. I'm like an urban prepper. So right now, like I said, I was stocking as if Grumpy might have to come down here, and so I stock for two people. So right now, literally, I can eat out my pantry. I went to, and I don't normally go to the grocery store. I have the groceries delivered, but I went to get my booster shot, the fourth one. And I had to go into the store because that's where the pharmacy was at the Safeway over near me. And I went in, masked up everything. Pharmacist was really nice. And I did get it. So my side effects, some people don't have side effects, some people do. I get the sore arm. And then for several days, my elbow was sore. And this was itchy and sore where they gave me the shot. I always do my left arm. Um, but while I was in the store, I didn't eat much. I mean, I picked up I didn't eat meat. My freezers are full right now. Um, Canned goods. I try to pick up canned goods. Usually when I go, I didn't do any canned goods. This go round, I need to do an order from Walmart because I want to fill in what we call the gaps in my pantry. I got very little items that I needed. I don't know if I got. They gave me a 10% coupon off groceries for getting my booster shot, and so I I bought, well, it was supposed to be $80 with grocery when you looked at them. I bought, but had Powerade. I'm a big Gatorade fan, but Powerade was on sale. And so I got the diet Powerades that were on sale. I bought a bunch of those. And then I can't remember what else, but it was really minute stuff. And because I don't like being in the I don't, I'm still really, like, we went into that restaurant we showed you. We asked for an area where the ventilation was good. I'm very weird on ventilation with COVID. We were pretty much in an area, it wasn't a lot of people. I asked them what time did they not have a lot of people in the restaurant. It wasn't a lot of people. Uh, servers had their little masks, was really nice. Um, so and families coming in, the ones that we saw around coming in with the mask, put it, take it out, eat. But we normally go where it has to be well ventilation because, like I said, all three of us have. Joe's diabetic, I'm diabetic, plus I have the blood clotting thing with the lung. Um, I got a whole bunch of other stuff too. I got the diabetes, I got the blood clotting issue, I got the lung damage, high blood pressure, I got a whole bunch of stuff. And then Joe, I think he's high blood pressure, diabetes. Linda has high blood pressure. Um, so we're all over. We're between now 54 and 63, 64 is what Joe is. So we're between that age range, and so we're more susceptible to stuff. So we're still cautious, even though all of us have went and got vaccinations. And like I said, we normally like I had to call because the only reason they gave us coupons, I was like, if they get a coupon, I'm like I called first. I said, I'm getting ready to I'm getting ready to call and find out what's going on. Um, but I don't even the rest even like stores. Like I said, I normally still do Instacart. I still pay for the Instacart. My groceries are usually delivered via Costco, or they usually go to this company, this store called El Super. Although my El Super stoppers have not been the best lately, so I may switch it to a Sprout shopper, which is it's right across the street. But again, I don't like going in. And then they deliver is still contactless because people are still trying to act like COVID is over, and I'm like, COVID gonna be here a minute. And the thing is, you still need to take those precautions because I still have family in the medical industry, and the numbers are up. My aunt sent me something from Tennessee talking about the numbers were high. I said, yeah, they're high. I said, but everybody is so burnt out on it, number one. And we're in a political season right now. The Democrats want to get back in office and they want to hopefully hold power. And if they didn't kind of give in on the COVID stuff, they knew that the previous administration mindset of people, even though he got vaccinated, is going to be very against them. So now let's just lift all these things and we just got to live with it. Yeah, we got to live with it. And people are going to die with it because you're sitting up here acting as if it's over and it's not. And some people, it's like, well, I'm tired of it. So I'm just going to act as if it's over. No, it's not. Just because we have the vaccinations, it's not over. I've got family members who have the same issue as me who have checked out or have long term side effects. And that's why I'm so cautious uh, about that's one of the reasons right now I'm looking because I'm like, okay, I don't know when these people gonna say come in, but I'm looking for something that's permanent work from home because I already know I know my risk factors, and then worst case I'm gonna have to talk to one of my doctors and say, okay, we need a workplace accommodation, and then you're gonna be on the chopping block because they don't really want to work with you. They want you to do what they want you to do. And they want you to come in there and be in the madness. And like the company I'm with right now, you don't have to prove vaccination. You don't have to wear a mask. And actually, the friend who referred me who got laid off, she's got a family member who works in one of our departments. She don't believe in the vaccination, so she just went back in the office. So you like a COVID breeder. You gonna breed. You gonna breed the. If you get it, you may breed a different variant of it, which may be worse. So and right now, because it's hot, we're seeing an increase because people are going into buildings and stuff like that. But it's amazing because you're watching people right now, and I went in the store and I was shocked. I try to go in with the old people because most of the older people we watch, I notice they'll wear masks and they are more cognizant. When you get to the middle agers and younger, they're like, oh, no big deal. They act like it's over with. Baby, this ain't over with. This is not over with. Um, One of my friends, her daughter just had to go to New York for a business trip. And now my friend who's on a flight, who's a flight attendant, she did get COVID and she is vaccinated. And I talked to her a few days ago. I need to check on her. And I checked on her and she called me and said, I got COVID. I'm like, oh my God. They don't require the patrons to wear masks anymore. Um, so she's up and I call it, I call the plane. That's like a big COVID petri dish, man. Because they tell me whatever they want. It's metal and you got all the people sitting close together. And she said her daughter was like, people are coughing and sneezing and not covering their mouth. It's an airborne virus. And the other thing is like the propaganda for the mask. So even though you wear the mask protects the other person more than it protects you because the particles are still small enough to get in through the mask. unless you start getting into the N95s, and even those offer slightly better protection than the surgical mask and the other masks. There is a video, if you watch on here on YouTube, that shows you like a spray and how it goes through, and that's amazing. And you see the different masks and how it stops it. But these particulates that we speak, what they that the little moisture glands that we have go out, that actually can travel a distance. So what the mask does, it decreases its capability of travel, which protects the other person. But because people were so hard-headed and so self-centered, what they did is I told it this twist of the propaganda. Oh, wear your mask because it protects you from COVID. So if I make it self-centered about me, then I wear my mask. Opposed to, okay, I'm wearing my mask, which slightly protects me, but in reality, if everybody wears a mask, it protects each other. So now I'm protecting the person across from me. It may stop a little bit, but it can still filter through this mask into me. So there's a whole bunch behind, and I'm watching, I'm like, this is absolutely amazing. When you watch it and what people want to buy because of their own self centeredness. And it's amazing. But when I went to the grocery store, I didn't need anything. I honestly, I can cook a whole meal in this house, other than, and me and the garden are having the animals, the critters are getting me. I'm got to get out there and fight and set up critter traps. So I got something in there for ants. The lizards are killing me. They ate all the lettuce. So I'm gonna see if there's another way to grow lettuce where they can't get to it. I may have to hang it. There's some hanging things you can do that I found on YouTube that I'm gonna do for my lettuce. Because them little ninjas ate all my lettuce. They only left me the root. Little ninjas. And so I got that. My tomato plant, she ain't doing too hot. I got some other tomato plants coming up. We'll see what they do. I got some new fertilizer I'm gonna go out there with and see if that helps her come back. Um, the mint plants were doing really good, and it got so hot here. Even both of them said to hell with it. They was like deuces. So right now I got to see. Mint normally will bounce back. One of them is coming back. The other one, she didn't handle it. The heat, we've been up to like 116. I don't know if we hit 120, but I know we hit 116, and they weren't feeling it. We did get rain today and got wind, so we'll see. And then I do have my lungs, they were coming up, but I'm gonna have to get out there and I need to get some fertilizer in there. So I'm gonna try. I used to have this stuff, it's called Vine Vitality, that I got from Amazon a long time ago. And I'm gonna try it and see if it doesn't help them out. Usually I had plants bounce back huge with that. I got a 32-ounce bottle this time because the last time I didn't even look. It looked like it was a little jug, and that thing was about this big. It was tiny, like a little jug, like this big. I don't know if it was 8 ounces. It was. I was like, what the heck? When it came, I was like, what is this? You didn't need a lot because for every gallon you did an ounce, I think, or whatever. So you didn't need a lot of it. But I'm gonna go out there and do that, and I got some fish emulsion too. So I had to go out there and do some fertilizing, and then I got some new plant pots I'm gonna put in and see, because I wanted my own stuff where I could go out and get my own tomatoes. I could go on and get my own fresh vegetables. And I have a canopy there, but yeah. And then I got hit bad for a minute with the dog vomit mold. And what I found, because they were like, "Oh, you can't do nothing, just got to let it go, or you got to dig it out and get rid of all the." No, no, no. So I tried something which actually works. Cinnamon in the garden is an antifungal. So normally the dog vomit fungus is attracted to your mulch. And so, or something that it eats on in the soil. And if it has mulch in the soil, it will come up through that. Like initially when I had it was when I moved into this complex, it was down in the ground. It does not hurt your plants. It's just disgusting looking. Um, and so, because I've researched it, and what I do is I sprinkle cinnamon on it if it comes up, and I sprinkle cinnamon on the mulch. And what I've noticed is it dries it out and it keeps it from spreading. So as soon as you see it, cinnamon. And what I'll probably be doing from here on out, when I plant, I'll be doing cinnamon on my mulch. And cinnamon, like I said, it's an antifungal. I'm gonna call Linda back in a minute. It's an antifungal. So um yeah, that's pretty much what I see. Hey Kathy, what's up, mama? Yeah, it's an antifungal, so that's what I'm doing. I got to get out there and play with that garden a little bit more, and I don't know, Tuesday, Wednesday, I might do that. I'm supposed to be starting Grand Canyon Monday. So I gotta once I get off of here, I need to log in and look at everything. I got the syllabus to download. I need to download something about the assignment, and I think I can check in the class today. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all that done because Monday I work. I tried to get it off because I guess we have a birthday day off, but the system wasn't letting me, and I'm on a wait list for Tuesday. So we'll see if it lets me get Tuesday because that's the last day I can take it because I'm off Wednesday, Thursday, and it has to be within your birthday month. So we'll see. We'll see. But y'all be praying for me because, like I said, I'm either looking for work for home or something where if I have to deal with a company, they have very stringent COVID guidelines. I love working from home. It's peaceful. This is my Zen moment, and work from home is life changing. So we'll see what God opens up. But yeah, right now we're praying. And then what y'all doing in y'all neck of the woods, y'all area of the country? And I know it's not too many folks on tonight. And like I said, I was just rambling because I it bothered me about the whole. I'm like that. And what do y'all think about the prices of fuel and food? What's y'all? I don't know if anybody even we got a lot of people on here because I like I said I got the I call him old man Red out there. He's a 96 grand Marquis GS or whatever. He old, but I don't go very far in him because he don't go that far, and I put a little bit of fuel in there, and I do $25 worth of food fuel every other pay period, and I pretty much don't go very far because I normally it's got me to a doctor's appointment back to the house, and like I said, most of my groceries are delivered. He stays parked for several days. Eventually, once I save up enough loot, then I'm probably get something maybe a little better and definitely more economical. Um, but yeah, I don't. Grandma don't go very far. You don't go very far. And y'all, I'm thinking about t-shirts because one of my associates, she said you need to put that on a t-shirt. When I do, I'm gonna let y'all know. And Kathy, I'm still working on barbecue sauce. We will have it up though because I'm gonna order the bottles. So they finally, the company I want to order the bottles for, I found the bottles I want. They're small, round. I have one in here. I have something similar, but the ones I got from Amazon, I could use. I don't know. I may use them for local, but I'm gonna order from this company because these will be fine for barbecue sauce. The lids on them are a plastic lid with a little plastic piece, and it's okay. It's just not what I want to do for the barbecue sauce. So I want the ones with the metal lid, and it has a little foam cap in there that's more geared towards, and I've seen it for other barbecue sauces, and I like the style. So that's one thing that I've been looking at, but I'm going to be messing with that here. It's going to be here within school time frame because grandma needs a side hustle. And if that side hustle ends up blessing me in bigger ways, amen, hallelujah, and thank you, Jesus. And then I got the tripod so y'all can actually start seeing me out there on the grill, grilling up some stuff. I need to, because I haven't done pizza on the grill. I used to do pizza. I used to do a breakfast pizza on the grill because so regular pizza's okay. My favorite pizza is when it's a wood fire pizza. I like when you go to the restaurants and they have a wood fire oven and they have the like the Italian pizza ovens and you push it in there and that wood is in there because that dough takes on a little bit of the smoke. I just love that pizza to me is the best pizza ever. Regular Domino's and all that is okay. It's not the same. Wood fire pizza is your friend. It's your friend. I like the flavor. I do. But no, tonight I just been chilling. We went, and I didn't think we'd be out that long, but we left out of here. We got there about one something, and then we all sat there at the table in full tick mode. And then we went to the coffee house and kind of because our coffee house that we go to, that's the one I was at where they open the doors and everything is ventilated. So you can either sit out on the patio or you're sitting near ventilation. So one of the things with COVID is you don't want the air to circulate in a building because then everybody in the house is going to share it or everybody in the building. That's like Joe. Joe had gotten COVID in the early days before the vaccine. And I think several people in his family got it because they were in that house and it was just circulating through the ventilation system. He said, "Oh, I'm isolating in my room." You can't. I mean, you can do it, but it's not going to prevent it from circulating in the air. The particulars are already going through the ventilation system. So that's where they were talking in New York that there would need to be special kind of filters put into business and restaurants to try to keep it down. And it just Most companies aren't going to want to spend that money because they cheap as hell. Cheap as hell. Anyway, y'all, we have 45 minutes. I wasn't talking about too much of anything else. All I'm going to tell y'all is right now, I still sense that you need to stock food. I do believe things are going to get a lot worse. And I hate to say that. I'm not trying to be a negative Nelly. I'm just a realist. And everything that I've seen coming down the pike is coming. If you are a Christian and you don't understand what season it is, I don't know what to tell you because right now you should be screaming from the rooftops that this feels like we're in a pre-rapture season. Like, make sure your life is in order because Jesus is coming. Um, and we don't know when he's coming, so therefore we need to be prepared like they were in Egypt. And like he told them, go in your house, mark the blood on your doorpost, and eat your food and get ready to go. So to me, that is a season we're in. We do not know when he's going to take us out of this Egypt of the world that we in through what we believe is the rapture. And even if we don't go that way and we go to casket, we need to be always ready. Um, but the seasons and the things that we're seeing, even in politics, the abortion, moral standards, all of that, even what we're seeing in the Christian church, this weird thinking and divide that we have in there, this what gets me is that's why I'm really shocked by some ministries I'm watching, and I'm like, are you in the same time I'm in right now? Are you seeing and sensing spiritually what's going on in the atmosphere? But you want to tell me I'm a winner, and you want to tell me how to be a mogul, and you want to tell me, and not saying, I'm not trying to say we are not. The Bible tells us that we are to occupy till He comes. I'm not trying to say you're not, but when the focus is all about here, money, who you can be, being the top dog on the charts, and there's no what I consider spiritual foundational teaching about heaven, hell, relationship with the Lord. It's all about what you can get, like you pimping God and what you can get from Him. It bothers me. It bothers me a lot because I'm talking to people who have absolutely no clue. I had a conversation with a friend. I'm like, and I'm telling, do you know this Bible story? No. How you don't know the story of Joseph? A little bit story of Moses. Didn't know how Moses and Joseph tied together. Where'd you think the Hebrews came from? It's amazing to me. The Hebrews came in with Joseph. And when you read the Bible, it says when Moses came along, Pharaoh, it had pretty much enslaved the Jews because he forgot about Joseph. Well, then wouldn't that make you curious to find out who Joseph is? It's a lot. So, yeah. So, prayer for me. They did give me. I got 2 scholarships for the university. I got. Well, we're trying to see how many credits came over. I had to pay, I guess, a bookstore debt from when I was at the junior college. I paid that, so then they released my transcripts. So we got to see. But I'm gonna get off of here, y'all. I don't have much else to talk about. Stock food. Use wisdom in your spending. Don't be showing people what you're stocking because if things get really bad, folks may try to come up in your crib and take what you got. Um, be wise in your spending and be very cautious and still follow COVID guidelines because COVID is not dead and gone. Like my aunt sent me a message with COVID is high numbers here in Tennessee. It's high numbers everywhere. They just not talking about it because right now, okay, go back to normal, and if you die, oh well. I mean, they don't care anymore because ultimately, whoever does live, we just want you to vote for us politically. So, oh well. But yeah, y'all definitely stock food and rotate through your existing pantry. Get things that are going to be survivable. If you can grow your own food, grow what you can. Hopefully, you don't have a bunch of garden ninjas like I do eating up your stuff. But grow what you can, and yeah, and then definitely, if you're not able to can, make sure you're buying canned goods uh, and stuff you're going to eat. I mean, stuff that you know you'll eat. Like I got flour, I got shelf stable milk, and not dairy milk, but I use like oat milk or coconut milk. And I'm not talking about the canned coconut milk that you would use in baking. I'm talking the kind you could use as a drink or to pour in something. I got coffee beans, also ways to do this stuff manually without necessarily the capability of electricity and or gas. So you really need to get up. You got if you got like I have the smoker, you can use wood. You can do charcoal too, and then have ways to set that on fire. A lot of people don't know you could take a cotton ball and Vaseline, do that, put it in your thing, light that on fire because it's petroleum, and it will burn and it will help start fire. You paper, they have the things where you stuff the paper down and you don't necessarily. I'm not a big lighter fluid, and that's what I got right now. I need to get some starters, but I'm not big on lighter fluid, but I do have some right now because it was a cheap way to do it. But you need to get things to start like that. And then I actually have a friend of mine. Let's see if she still has it. I'm supposed to be buying a cooking stove from her. Now it's propane based, but that's another issue you may have because you saw what happened in Texas where people went to go fill up propane. Propane's a gas. And so therefore, if they don't have the gas or they run out, you don't have gas. So your only option now is wood and paper. So you need to find other methods to cook with other than propane. So you need to be thinking out the box. Some people, because of the heat, are having these rolling blackouts. How else can you light your house? Like I told you, if you can, research the Crisco candle on here. And honestly, I believe God has people in place for go through different things for a reason. The preppers, the real, kind of real very extreme preppers, they got some wisdom in the stuff they do. Some of their stuff is wisdom. One of their channels is how I found out about the. It was somebody mentioned it once. I was like, let me go see it. This is really real. There's something called a Crisco candle. You can get the Walmart version, but Crisco is better because it comes in more of a metal type tin. Get the Crisco oil that you're supposed to cook with, which I don't normally cook with. You get a taper candle. You can buy a box of taper candles for like a couple of bucks if that at Walmart or wherever. And then you put it in the middle of the Crisco. I can't remember how many hours or days that thing lasts for. And if you're only using it at certain times of the day, it lasts. And they will tell you. I was like, when I saw, I was like, this is crazy. I think almost like a month or more. So you could get a couple things, and that thing lasts forever. And we talking, I think they were doing it as if they were burning it all day. So that thing could last for a couple of months by the way they burning it. And we're not talking about where it catches. It will basically, if you do the taper candle right, people did it. I was like, what in the heck? No idea this existed. No. So you need to have ways to do that. I have candles in the house. You need to have matches as well as some people still use the clickable things. Again, that's butane you got to use for that. Or it may not be refillable. I have ones that are refillable, but I also got matches up in this house. Old school is not always bad. Old school is some wisdom on doing some stuff. Old school, it's just some wisdom in it. And then, like I said, the only other thing is the water stocking. I've been doing the bottled water, but I'm also looking at a filtration system. I have like a little one right now. I have the little one, like I got a little Asian one. But I would love to own a Berkey if I start getting the right kind of money, because Berkey can filter out nasty water and you can drink it. Berkey is apparently bomb. Um, so I would love to own a Berkey. And like I said, if something happens to me, the way I look at it, this is here. Let's say, for those of you, I don't know who believes in rapture, who don't. I believe in rapture. Church gets raptured out tomorrow. I've been listening to the Left Behind audio book series. And there's people who left behind because they weren't ready. They didn't have their life right with the Lord. All this food in here, somebody like that could use because things are going to get bad. Everything is really being set, and I can't share it enough. I was listening to, was it Ecuador? One of the countries, and they're having riots in the street because of the rising gas prices, rising food prices, because people are having struggles affording food. When I went to my doctor, and I meant to mention this last time, I went to my doctor's office. They asked me to do this like early check in, an check in, and it was like a 4 or 5 page questionnaire. Bizarre, but when I read it, I sat there and go, "Ooh, Lord." They asked me about food insecurity in some of the questions. They asked me about getting back and forth to the doctor's office. Was I having problems with that financially? All sorts of things regarding like fuel costs. Could you afford it? Were you not going to your appointments because you couldn't afford it? Were you eating? They were asking about psychological questions, about how you're interacting with people. They asked a whole bunch, but the two things that stood out to me was the food insecurity, and the fuel question about transportation and cost. Because the average American from mid-level down, what used to be middle class, which is now poor, those people who aren't above a certain economic threshold, those individual people are going to struggle in this, and they're calling it a recession. I'm going to say we're on the brink of depression. And I mean, I went to the grocery store and I was trying to share this one time when I went in there. I went to first time to go find out if I could do the shot. And they said the pharmacist was busy. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to sit up in here because I don't, like I said, I don't like being in closed environments. As I'm walking out and I had grabbed a few items that I was going to go out with me, as a man in the back, I mean, you could hear him screaming and cussing. Why is he screaming and cussing? Because he's talking about the cost of food. This used to cost me blankety blank. What the blank? And I could hear the anger and the frustration, but at the same time, my heart kind of dropped because I'm thinking, for somebody to be that sad and that upset tells you where they're at financially with food. And the irony is, I sat here and I was like, thank you, Jesus, because I began having dreams before we're here. I didn't know what it was going to entail, but I realized, A, it's part of this financial situation, but there's more coming. We haven't looked at the global impact. Well, we got people going, oh, global warming isn't really global warming politics. Whatever you want to call it. We call it global warming when I grew up, climate change, whatever you want to call it. Man has pooped on the planet that God gave him. Because of greed and everything else, I'm going to run my factories this way. I'm going to pollute the air, and the planet is screaming out. The Bible says the planet will basically, it's actually longing for the return of the Lord. Okay, even it cries out for the return of God to save it from the humans he put here. Okay, because they just boo booed on it. Now, with that, if you look and just go do your own research, you gotta believe me. You can get on this internet. This internet will show you newspapers and videos from different parts of the country. Go look up China, go look up Japan, go look up all these countries and see what's happening. There's one I watch, and I had to research them because I'm not always trusting the stuff I see. So I have to get other collaborations. But it's called The Two Preachers. And they film, they're in, I think they're from Europe, and they film, they get films. I can't say they're doing it themselves. They get films from different people who supply it to them of different events around the world, and they're showing the natural disasters that are going on. There was like something that was killing off elephants in Africa, and they were just, and you just, and I was like, well, okay, let me go research, because I was like, I cannot believe this. There was the storms, things that are happening in the skies, just a lot of stuff that's weird, but the storms is huge. Stuff that's unusual in parts of the country. I think it's China and Japan. Is it China and Japan? Can't remember which one. They told them to start storing food. They're not telling them this for their health, and they told them to do it not to, not to hoard, but to start storing food, because of all of the natural disasters. They're not producing the rice and the grains and all the things that they used to do. We have other parts of our world with different issues. Oh, they're out there talking. And these things are going to be very, very, very serious. So people can tell you what they want to tell you. I'm gonna tell you right now. Make sure your food storage is up. Prices are not going to go down. They're going to go higher. And it's going to get very expensive. This reminds me, like I said, I've been around with 54, and I remember that we had a recession back in the 70s, 80s. I used to talk about, I remember people when I was a kid, they talked about people who would get dog food and cat food because that's all they could afford to eat and to live off of, to fill their belly. And it was a cheap form of food. Well, let me help you with something. I picked up the stuff that makes dog food and cat food, and it's disgusting, but I'm going to tell you, it comes from regular food. So if we have shortages on birds, we have shortages on other animals, that's also going to affect dog food. Matter of fact, I was just talking to my play niece's mom, and she told her daughter, because she has two little dogs, she said, you need to store up the dog food for the dogs. So basically, and I told her, yeah, every time she goes and buys a bag of dog food, she need to buy one or two extra. and put that in a cool place to store, because if things become hard, you got to feed them too. And so you need to store food for not only you, but if you have animals, you need to do that too. Maybe why I'm not got a cocker spaniel yet. I want another cocker spaniel. I want a cocker in a mink pen, but it, you need to store food too for both you and the animal. And right now I'm okay. I probably got about 100 pounds of rice up in this house. I got over, I think, 35 pounds of regular pinto beans, and then I don't know what I got in black beans and other beans. And so I'm storing, and I have the airtight containers. Now I need to move my flour into some containers, and I need to do that. I actually got a bucket. I just need to order the lid and then rewash that bucket, and uh, and put that in there. Put the flour in there too. So, guys, there's just stuff you can do to avoid the madness. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you, there's stuff you can do to avoid the madness of what may be coming down the line. And I don't think it's a may. I think it's just more of a win. So we are going to see it. That stuff that's going on over in Ukraine, it's going to affect us some, but it's really going to affect other parts of the world. And the other problem is we also have not had the grain harvest that we normally have because of climate. The whole Southwest is part of Texas. The farms are suffering from drought. Florida got hit with those weird storms and freezing. So we don't know what it's going to do to the orange crop on that. So there's stuff going on, and folks are thinking things. It's not right now. You still can't find distilled water. I was at the grocery store, and I used to use distilled water for my CPAP. I can't find distilled water, so I'm using purified water that I get from Kirkland when it's supposed to be distilled water. You can't find it. Now somebody said, "Oh, get the baby water." It's still not quite the same as distilled water. There is some you can sometimes get at Walmart, but even when I was trying to get from Walmart, half the time they were sold out on distilled water, or they just didn't have it in. And y'all can research it. I went to say, "What's going on with distilled water?" There's a shortage. There's a shortage in distilled water. So there's just a lot of stuff, and people are thinking, "Oh, they're trying to do business as usual." It's not business as usual. Things are janky, really, really, really janky on a lot of levels. And folks aren't wanting to hear and or see the big picture. Anyway, y'all, we are at an hour. Y'all be blessed, two and two. And I'll probably do another live here in a week or so. Peace. Oh, you know what? I'm sitting up here trying to click it, and this is not, I'm on the computer. There we go.